Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you are all doing well. Now today, we're going to be covering a topic that is essential to everyone's game. Before we get into the video, I just want to say a quick thank you for 100,000 subscribers. That is such a significant milestone, and I cannot emphasize how grateful I am to be able to do what I do. It's really a blessing to be in the position that I'm in, so I just want you guys to know that I do not and will not ever take it for granted. Without you guys, I would never be able to pursue YouTube full-time, so again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I seriously cannot say that enough. In order to give back a little bit, my friend Bluejay and I will be hosting a giveaway. I know my audience is spread across all 3 platforms, so in order to ensure that all of you guys are able to enter, we will be giving away 15 game keys for PC players and 30 $10 gift cards for console players. In addition to this, I will also be giving away 5 season passes. In order to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is join my Discord. That's it. This isn't some bullshit giveaway. I'm well aware that there are hundreds of them out there. Once you join the Discord, head over to the channel called Giveaway. The only thing you have to do from here is click on the little emoji under the post and you will be entered. You don't technically have to subscribe to my channel or like this video, but I would greatly appreciate it. The entries for the giveaway start on October 26th and the winners will be announced on Friday, November 9th. Best of luck to all those who enter. Thank you again for 100,000 subscribers, and now let's get on with the video. Throughout my entire tips and tricks series, I have yet to make one specifically focused on improving aim, so that's what we're going to do today. I started getting really invested in this game around Operation Velvet Shell, which was March or April of 2017. When I look back at my gameplay from well over a year ago, I see a vast difference in my aim. If back then I had known about the stuff that I know now, I definitely don't think I would have sucked as much. Today I'm going to be going over several tips that I wish I had known much earlier on, and I hope you guys are able to learn something new. With that being said, let's talk about 5 tips that will make you instantly improve your aim in Rainbow Six Siege. In this video, we're going to be talking about the 5 following topics: the unknown truth about attachments, vertical, horizontal, and ADS sensitivities, understanding gun recoil, how to control recoil, and situational awareness. Before we get into anything advanced, let's cover the basics. When you select an operator, his or her gun will always have a variety of attachments to choose from. If you're searching for ways to improve your aim, the most simple way to start is by adding an attachment. What this does is it makes recoil easier to manage by adjusting a gun's recoil pattern. Let's start out with the suppressor. A suppressor greatly reduces the sound of the gun, but it also lowers its damage rate. Personally, the only time I like to use suppressors is when it's on my pistol, so I can silently take out gadgets and unsuspecting enemies. I did a bit of research, and as far as I can see, there's no official statement that says the suppressor reduces recoil. If you're having trouble managing a gun's kick, I personally wouldn't recommend using the suppressor because that's not its intended use. However, one attachment that is specifically designed to help manage gun recoil is the Compensator. It has no effect on vertical recoil, but instead lowers a weapon's horizontal recoil. This results in a straighter, more predictable recoil pattern, meaning if you can learn how to manage a gun's vertical kick, this attachment will allow you to have pinpoint accuracy. The Compensator does have some cons, however, as this sight is awful for single shot firing, and it's also not great for tap firing because the recoil is very high for the first few shots. As you can see, the recoil pattern is divided into 4 stages: green, yellow, orange, and red. The green stage represents your first bullet, the yellow stage represents your next few bullets, orange represents next 5-10 bullets, and red represents your last 10 to 15 bullets. The green stage can be referred to as single shot firing or tap firing. They both mean the same thing. The yellow stage can be referred to as burst firing, and the orange and red stages can be referred to as spray firing. When you add the Compensator, your horizontal recoil greatly decreases. Like I said, it makes your recoil a straighter, more predictable line, meaning you don't have to worry about the gun shaking horizontally and you only have to worry about the gun's vertical movement. If you're able to learn how to counter the vertical recoil, you will develop pinpoint accuracy using this sight. The reason why the Compensator is awful for tap firing is because your sight jumps up really high after firing only one shot. With this sight, your gun experiences a lot of recoil within the first few shots, meaning you experience high recoil during the green and yellow stages, and as you continue shooting, the recoil gradually decreases and gets really easy to manage during the orange and red stages. Again, this is why the Compensator is not great for tap or burst firing, but is extremely effective in spray firing. When we take a look at the recoil pattern of the muzzle brake, it's easy to understand why this sight specializes in tap firing. For the first shot, you will experience nearly 0 recoil. This is why I heavily suggest using muzzle brake for any marksman rifle such as Buck's Cam RS, Blackbeard's SR25, or Dokubi's MK14. If we were to use the Compensator or flash hider for these marksman rifles, the recoil would be significantly higher and much harder to control. With this being said, it's important to note that every gun has a different recoil pattern, which is why one sight may work for one gun, but may suck for another. Just a quick heads up, if you're interested to know the difference between the Compensator and the flash hider, continue watching, but if you want to skip ahead, please go to the following timestamp posted on the screen. I know I've been talking about attachments for a while, so this section could be getting kind of boring, but if you're still interested, please let me know in the comments with the hashtag AttachmentLivesMatter. Thanks. The compensator versus flash hider debate is definitely one area where most experienced players have a strong opinion. At the end of the day, it all comes down to personal preference in what suits you best. I've met a large percentage of players that prefer to use the compensator, and another large percentage of players prefer to use flash hider. I'm not going to tell you which attachment to use because my preferences may not exactly match yours, but I will tell you what I personally play. When I'm on console/controller, I tend to use the compensator because I find myself spray firing quite often and I don't mind the initial high amount of recoil. I can manage its vertical kick very well, and I love that I don't really have to worry about any horizontal recoil. On PC, however, it's easier to control aim due to using a mouse and keyboard. On this platform, I personally prefer using flash hider because headshots and one-taps are much more common, so the ability to control tap and burst fire is quite convenient. I really love using both sights, it honestly just depends on the situation. And even though my setup might work for me, it might not work for you, so just try out each attachment and see what you prefer. One last little tip, if you are confused on whether you should use vertical grip or angled grip, simply ask yourself the following question. Am I easily controlling a weapon's recoil without either attachment? If the answer to that question was yes, then I recommend using angled grip because it will decrease the amount of time it takes you to ADS. This slight improvement in ADS time may give you the split-second advantage between you and your opponent and could very well be the deciding factor in getting the kill versus being killed. If the answer to that question was no, then I would recommend using vertical grip because it specializes in helping you further control recoil. The way I look at it is, if I have trouble controlling a weapon, I use the vertical grip because ADS time won't matter if I can't land a single shot. Moving on to section 2, sensitivity. I've covered a bit of this topic in another video, but for some reason I still get loads of comments asking about my sensitivity, so I'll roll that clip again and then add some new additional information afterwards. Sensitivity is a very important part of this game because it will either make or break your aim. I see a lot of players with poor aim, and my friend Brian is definitely one of them. Here's a common example of what we go through literally every single day.
Yeah, he's still in pain. Oh, he's moving.
Good shit.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
You have 90 bullets. Why are you switching? Good shit, Ryan. Good fucking shit. Oh my god.
I'm surprised quite a TK.
Ryan!
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god,
Ash?
Brian.
Now that we have an example to work with, let's try to fix the problem. There are three main parts when talking about sensitivity: vertical, horizontal, and ADS. Personally, I play on 20 vertical, 80 horizontal, and 26 ADS, and in a minute I'll show you why. With a lower vertical sensitivity, your aim will be much easier to control and your sight will not be moving up, down, and all over the place. As you can see on screen, when I increase the vertical sensitivity, it becomes much harder to keep my sight in one spot. It's the same idea with your ADS sensitivity. If I turn it too high, my aim becomes very sporadic. However, if I turn it too low, it is literally impossible to control recoil, and my movement whilst aiming resembles that of a turtle. If we take a look back at Brian's gameplay, we see that his ADS and vertical sense are definitely too high, and his horizontal sensitivity may be too low. Again, all this stuff comes down to personal preference and what you can master. These are simply my suggestions. One drill that you can do to practice your aim and sensitivity is to find two relative locations 90 degrees apart from each other. Fire a few shots in one direction and practice quickly snapping to your right or left. This is why I prefer a higher horizontal sensitivity, because you will not be able to quickly snap if it is too low. With this drill, not only will you learn to control your recoil, but you also develop the skill to flick on opponents. Now, here are a few of my recent clips where you can clearly see this drill being put to use in my real gameplay.
10 seconds. Last stop standing.
Nice yourself.
Thanks. I hit him 4 times in the shoulder and he nitro-celled me because I fucking get it. Go back.
That's about all there is to talk about for sensitivity on console, but aiming on PC requires much different settings. I am nowhere near as experienced on PC as I am on console, so my suggestions may not be as helpful as suggestions from someone who's familiar with the movements and controls. With that being said, my friend Hickscap is an experienced PC player, and he recommends that if you play wrist, use 12 vertical, 12 horizontal, and 70 ADS with 800 DPI. If you play arm, use 12 vertical, 12 horizontal, and 70 ADS with 400 DPI. In his words, it's a moderate sensitivity, not too high, not too low, and it's great because you can make adjustments from there if necessary. Keep in mind that his sense may not be right for you, everyone is different, and it's really about finding what suits you best. The only way to master your aim is to practice, and don't get discouraged if it doesn't work right away. If you play on PC, I highly suggest going on 3daimtrainer.com. It's a great website that will help you master your movements, increase the confidence in your shot, and help you warm up your aim before heading into ranked. This isn't sponsored, by the way, I just truly find the website efficient and easy to use. Moving on to Section 3, Understanding Gun Recoil. We've already covered attachments and how they affect a gun's recoil pattern, but now let's talk about the actual guns. There are many different types of weapons, and for each different type comes a unique recoil pattern. It takes a lot of time to learn and master said recoil pattern, which is why most people have main operators. Personally, on offense, I love playing Ash, Hibana, or Buck, and on defense, I love playing Echo, Vigil, or Kapkan. Ash's R4C is extremely powerful and easy to control. Combine that with her 3-speed and ACOG, and it's quite simple to understand why she's such a common main in this game. Hibana's primary is also very straightforward, and her gadget is useful for nearly any given situation. The only downside is both of her guns have a small magazine of 21 bullets, and her secondary weapon, the Bearing 9, got a massive nerf and now has significant amounts of recoil. I find her gun much harder to control now than before the nerf, and this brings up one of my main points for this section. In some cases, maybe your aim doesn't suck, maybe the gun just sucks. For example, the SMG-11 and the SMG-12 now have ridiculously high recoil and they're near impossible to control. When you compare that to Pulse's UMP, it's night and day. If you're having trouble controlling recoil and you can't seem to master any gun, try maining Pulse or Castle. They both have that same gun, and it's by far one of the easiest to control in the entire game. Also, another random tip is to always reload with one or more bullets in your magazine because you will get a faster reload animation. I was actually curious enough to measure the times of each reload, and with an empty magazine it takes 2.34 seconds, and for a fast reload it takes approximately 1.27 seconds. This time difference is significant enough to where it could be the sole reason for winning or losing a gunfight. A lot could happen in that extra second, so try to be mindful of that from now on. I wanted to fit 5 tips in this video, but as I'm editing this, I realized that I'm nearly already 12 minutes in. How to control recoil is going to be a long section, meaning 4 to 7 minutes of in-depth content, so there's legitimately no way that I can fit the next 2 topics in without making this video close to 20 minutes. I don't want to scare people off by posting a 20-minute video. Some people may say that's way too long, I don't want to watch tips for 20 minutes, and they might just skip the video altogether. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a part 2 to this video and post it 1 week from today. In that video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to control recoil on both console and PC, and I'm also going to dive into the importance of situational awareness. If you're watching this video after November 2nd, the video is already out and is in the description. I apologize because this is legitimately the first time that I've ever had to split up one episode, but I had quite a lot of information to talk about. I sincerely hope you were able to learn something. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. With that being said, I appreciate your time, I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace!